Hey folks, I wanted to make a quick video here. I did some looking on YouTube and I couldn't find a video of what I was looking for. But what I have is a 2017 SS sedan, Chevy SS sedan. It's got the LS3 in it. And I was wanting to add a external shift light in it, but I was kind of limited on my options from what I could see. So I did a chat with Autometer, and the best option from what I could see was using the part number for it is a Autometer 9123, which is an RPM signal adapter for LS engines, which is what this harness is here. You have two sides of it. You'll see where it connects in here shortly. And it also has the tach adapter model 9117 included with it as well. Now you can put an adapter in here and just hard splice it without using the connectors, but I wanted something that I could remove if I felt like it, or if I needed to take it off for any reason. So something that was like plug and play or quick disconnect instead of hard wiring it in there. But this is the shift light that I had bought here. This is the 5330 quick light shift light. And the nice thing about this one here is it already has the plug and for the shift system controller, which you can see it's got this plug here, so that'll connect directly. So this I will have to hardwire in, but this will be mounted inside the car. And then the wire, the gray wire here, that will be your new tach signal wire that you'll use to connect the controller to. So then I'll be able to use the controller to set my RPM that I want my shift light to come on. That's the box in the part for the digital shift pro, or digital pro shift controller, sorry, 5312. So I'm gonna be putting this in my car, and then I wanted to show you a little quick install of at least how fast it is to put this adapter in here to connect it in there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put the harness on now. Just show you, this is regular standard LS3. Like I said, this is in a 2017 Chevy SS sedan. So we'll go ahead and start with taking the engine cover off, moving this out of the way, and then it'll expose your wiring harnesses and your connectors. So next I'm going to lay my connector here on top, kind of lay everything out where I might want to put it, kind of set everything around, get an idea. So your two connectors that you'll be disconnecting are the two gray ones on top of the valve covers, which are going to be for your, I believe they're for your coil pack firing. So we'll just go ahead and disconnect this side, and I want to run it underneath the heater hoses just to kind of keep it tucked down underneath farther. So, and then basically you're just going to go end to end. So it's just literally splicing in place of. So that's what makes it to where you can just take it off if for some reason you needed to remove the harness. Then we'll have to tuck this around here. And then on this side, to get it underneath there, what I'm going to do is run it underneath the fuel rail on the driver's side here. And I'm going to pull the disconnector off here to give me just enough room to get it underneath the fuel line where it comes in, ties into the fuel rail, and reconnect this here. Then we'll disconnect the connector here on the valve cover, connect this side, connect this side, and now that's in there. And so I'll probably just gonna do some tie wrapping and kind of tie wrap this back side here around, and I'll probably use like permanent adhesive or something, and then just find a spot and stick this tach adapter. So then I'm gonna take the gray wire, I'm gonna put a little bit of looming on it, and then I'm gonna run this to the inside of the car through one of the grommets in the back there, and then go from that point. So I'm just going to tidy this section up here, put some tie wraps on it, get everything back together, secure everything, put the cover back on, and then we'll move to bringing it to the inside of the car. Okay, fast forward a month now that I have a little bit more time to finish this little project up here. Where I was left off, I was tidying up the connectors, and you can see where I have some tie wraps, and I just routed the wires, kind of neatly tucked them out of the way, have it run across. And then here's a connector, a weather pack stock connector that they give you, this gray one here, for connecting the tach adapter. I have the my shop strength hot glue attaching this here, and it is solid. It's not going anywhere, so that's good out of the way. I put some wire looms on it, neatened it up, kept things moved out of the way. The one wire that does go inside, which was probably the bigger pain, is to actually get it to inside the car. You can see comes out of the weather pack connector, and I have a loom on it as well. But if you notice, there's a black flange there with 2 bolts on it. That was originally for the sound tube that they put in this car that connected that to the intake manifold to help with interior sounds. I had a block off plate from RotoFab that I put up there, so I just basically used that and drilled a hole in it to put the single wire inside for the tack adapter. And then I'll go here in just a second, in a minute, on the inside, and I'll show the controls for the controller itself. Okay, so we can see the setup that I have here. I have just the mini shift light. I have some industrial and strength Velcro that I use to attach that up there for now, until I figure out if that's exactly where I want to put it. This is the actual controller here that I have. Same thing with the industrial strength Velcro. Ran the wiring down the side by the fuse panel on the side there, and have everything tucked up inside there. For the power, I know a lot of people were talking about for the switched power to go all the way from the trunk and bringing power up from the trunk and around and get through the interior. I had another idea that I got off the forums of using this power outlet here, and I basically pull the power outlet out from the front, which is pretty simple to do once you understand how it's connected in there. And then I tied on some wires, or I soldered on some wires for the hot and the ground for that, because it is a fuse source. And then I ran the wiring through the underside, underneath the dash, across, and then back up about where the tip of my shoe is. That's where I have all of the wires tied together and tucked up underneath there with all the trim back on there. So it's a nice clean installation. And just so you can see as far as how this works on the shift controller, let me go ahead and start it for you. You'll see the control here. It has a live reading, and you can also shut the LCD or the screen off of the controller there, so that way it doesn't come on whenever you're driving it normally. But you just go in there and you put your set put that you want. And right now I have it set for 2,000 RPM just to see, just to test that shift light. So we'll put a little bit of RPM here. So there it is. You can see the shift light come on there. There it is. And so you can, from that point, you can change the RPM or whatever RPM you want to set it at for it to come on. I did notice when I did drive it for the first time at nighttime, I didn't have the yellow cap on, the little shift light here, because it has a removable little cap here that you can take off. And so you'll see that it's quite a bit brighter. And when I drove it at night for the first time, it kind of actually blinded me. So lesson learned, don't drive it with the cap off at nighttime. Daytime, I'm sure that's going to be plenty bright with the cap off of it if I'm in daytime and I want to be able to see that. Anyhow, so that's my install of the external shift light for a 2017 SS sedan on an LS3. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a holler.